Get this, there we go. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but that's OBS just constantly reconnecting and disconnecting. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, all right, we're good. All right, let me get these links sent out to you all. Do. This is the very first Patreon only technical analysis live stream. Everyone. Oh, I forgot to change the name. God dang it. Oh, wait. One second. See if I can. It's not showing that the name changed, which is strange. Okay, let's see. I don't know why it's doing this. Hold on. I'm just delete it. Just give me 1 second, please. You guys know the deal. Always technical problems. Okay, Patreon only live stream technical analysis link. All right, I'm gonna drop it in the Patreon itself, and then we gonna get started. Did y'all tune into Money Morons today? Who's all in here at the moment as well? While I send this out. Okay, Patreon only live technical analysis. Also, I'm gonna make a folder on Discord that has all of these. Then I might do a minor recap afterwards to appeal to both crowds. Okay, and if I click that link, it should bring me over to YouTube. Who did, dude? The person who dislikes every one of these just disliked the live stream. That you're so annoying. Whoever did that. Anyway, okay, all right. Let's check out some. Let's do some TA. Now that the links are all sent out, let's go ahead. Okay, yeah, and there's a person in the Patreon who literally paid to dislike everything that I post. You're awesome. You're paying me to be a hater. It says a lot about you. Okay. All right, let's go. Are y'all ready? Everything should be good. Cool. All right. All right, let's start with Bitcoin. All right, let's see what's going on. This is going to be very simple technical analysis as I do on my channel or as I do in the Discord. It's not going to be super in-depth. This is probably only going to be like 5-10 minutes, but I just want to let you guys know what I'm seeing. And, just all of the major things there. So let me get this open and we should be good to go. Cool deal. Okay, here we go. So let's see. Hot Manatee, what's up, homie? Okay, so what we're seeing with Bitcoin right now, it's something that I called out in the Patreon not too long ago. If y'all remember, when we broke right here, we broke that level, and I said I'm surprised we didn't see a retest. You guys know how I am, right? I really like seeing retests because it's that establishment of support that we like to see. So we saw a minor establishment there. Like, we can see that it didn't just completely shoot all the way through without any type of pullback. But I mean, there wasn't even a red candle on the 2 hours. It was just an immediate breakthrough. And if we look at the 4s, we can see that when we broke out, let's go back up here this way. When we broke out, I mean, it was honestly pretty seamless. There was not much of a retest, especially on the 4s. And I said I'm surprised that we saw that. I'm surprised that we didn't see any type of retest at all because there was no establishment of support really, right? So what we can see now, what is happening is that we weren't able to maintain those levels, and I think it's contributed to the fact that there wasn't that establishment of support there, right? That breakout was very, very, it was a lot, okay? So what we're seeing now is we are seeing that retest. The retest almost always happens. Now, what we were tracking over the last couple of days is we were looking at the formulation of this pattern here, right? We were looking at, okay, we saw a establishment of support, a breakthrough, double layers. We consolidated around the top of our zone, fell back to the bottom of our zone, and then we pushed back up to set a new high. But that's not what we saw this time around. It was very similar. Establishment of support, a push up to our levels, consolidation at the top of our zone, a fall back through. And we were looking to see consolidation, then a push up, but that's not what happened. And I think, again, it's because we didn't see that retest. So what we're looking for now is we absolutely must. It is 100% a necessity, right, that we hold the line. right? We 1,000,000% on the Bitcoin charts right now on the 4 hour leads need to see, in my opinion, this being maintained. A little dip below it's not, the end of the world, but I really, really, really would like to see the maintaining of support here, a touch, and an uptrend beginning. That's very crucial, okay? Because what that says is that, yeah, sure, this is just a healthy pullback, right? Because realistically, if we're looking, we could be looking at, just some type of uptrend beginning like that. But what it does say is that, okay, we retested that initial breakthrough point, but we're still continuing, right? Because that's something we always want to see. Resistance turned into support will help with a bull run. That's always a necessity, right? It's no different, right? I mean, it's no different in what we've seen. If we even just go back into the Bitcoin charts, is that when we're on these uptrends, what we need to see, this is a good example here. Okay. So like, let's just say there, right? Or, let's even zoom in on more of a short-term status just to kind of make it a little bit better. So one thing that we like to see, right? Whenever we see a big run up like this, okay? So let's see some type of, let's keep it simple. So we see a big run up here, and then we see a fall, and then we start to climb again. If you notice, it looks great, but there was no establishment of support where we needed it to be. So say we saw this high, we set that high right there. Let's go there. As we can see, in order for this thing to have support, to see this true uptrend begin, we needed to establish some type of support on this previous resistance. When your price is going up, it's going to reach resistance. You fall, you climb. When you surpass that high, you need to establish that resistance as support. It's very, very important, because if you fall back below it, well, that means it's a failed support, and that it will probably continue to be resistance, and now you're probably looking at a downtrend, right? That's something of a head and shoulders. Okay, so with that being said, what we're looking to see happen is something similar to that, but just on more of a very smaller level here. What we're looking at is this resistance. Resistance doesn't change just because it's not horizontal. What I mean by that is that we're seeing this resistance here being formed on this downward trend line. So what we need to see now is that we've broken that trend line, is the use of it as support, right? Because likely what will happen is, if that doesn't happen, if we break through and close below this line, what we may see happen is a very high possibility, a very high likelihood, is that we see a fall below it, and then we hit our heads on it. And then we set a lower low, and a lower low looks like we could be looking at that 28,000 range, right? So what I think is absolutely necessary, and is very, very crucial right now, very crucial, is that we see the establishment of support here. I'll update you guys over the next 4 hours. I think it'll be very important that I update you guys, especially if you don't have these drawn. If you do want to draw this on your charts, if I disappear, if I just get abducted by aliens or something, what you're looking at is drawing a line from up here down to that runs in parallel, in tandem with these highs here, with this high here, that'll overall create that trend line there. And that is what you can tell is what we are finally close out. There we go. We are finally finding some support on that level. If we break through, it's not the end of the world, but it is a very bad sign. Okay. Because with that being said, what we would very likely see happen is a breakthrough, closing, consolidation, probably a re-entry. But from there, there's a high likelihood that we set another high here. And if we fall, if you guys have been in the channel for a while, I'm sure you recognize this. What we're looking at there is an head and shoulders, right? Head, we got the head, we got shoulder, shoulder. Okay, and that is not what we want to see. That's why we want to see this uptrend continuation, right? We want to see that push back up to set a new higher high. Because if that was the case, we could be looking at, say, if we set our shoulder lines here, say if we said something like that, I mean, we could be looking at a pretty substantial fall, right? We could be looking at a fall from there all the way down to exactly what I thought about that 29,000 range. Exactly. I mean, almost perfectly. Okay. So we need to keep a very close eye on that. So pay close attention again. Last but not least, I know I say it a lot, but it's important. See if we can establish support here, and an uptrend beginning would be absolutely fantastic. The next step here is, once we do, say if we do establish support along this level, the next step is this. We need to clear that previous level right there. Set a new higher high and set a new uptrend off of this to continue that momentum. Okay, that's what we're looking for. So that's Bitcoin. Let's jump to ADA, because ADA is a bit of a different story here. Okay, so what we're looking at, ADA at the moment looks to be very, very close and similar to something of the formation of a potential head and shoulders. Okay, and so that's something we need to pay attention to. The reason I say that is because we were potentially looking. Let's go ahead and just for now, let's exit out of that so we can really see this. Let's go ahead and let's actually do this. Remove drawing. Let's make this a clear picture. So what we're looking at is a very crucial moment as well. Okay, now let me point it out. I don't know if you guys are noticing it yet, but what I'm seeing is an inverse head and shoulders, which is typically good, right? Maybe. The reason I say that is because we have shoulder, head, and looking to form the shoulder. What is not an inverse head and shoulders is if we see this, a fall below our previous close and a push, even a push up there. That is it's going to be a very hard case to call that an inverse head and shoulders, right? It will be very, very important to see, in my opinion, that we can maintain at bare minimum, almost where we're at now, but at bare minimum, something at least there. I'd love to see that, right? Because, say, if we do see that formation, boom, boom, and we see the price do something like this, maybe maintain, hold the 40, and start to push up, then we see that formation, right? We can see that inverse head and shoulders being formed. We see that there. We could be looking, again, easy to predict. Boom. Let's go up to, let's draw the, let's say the shoulder line is, let's go there, right? We could still be looking at a significant push up. Okay. We could be looking at, say, if we break out there, we could be looking at a return to the 80s, which it doesn't surprise me. Look at this. Say if we did see a breakout very similar over the next maybe couple hours, and we draw this line straight, we're looking at a retest of that high there. Okay, so that's a perfect setup to retest this all-time high and start to set higher highs. So ADA again is at a very, very crucial moment, right? We're seeing a lot of cryptos coming up to moments that are important. Okay, again with Bitcoin, it's getting close. It's getting very close. It's struggling to break it, which is a good sign. Might be forming something of a doji there, but we definitely need to see that increase. ADA, again, we need, in my opinion, to see it hold the line. Hold the line. I would be very, very surprised that if we continue to fall, that these things don't start to really see a downward momentum. I'd be quite surprised, okay? So it's ADA. Let's jump over to Bitcoin dominance for a second just to take a picture and kind of see it. One thing that is good and one thing that's keeping me bullish and why I'm still bullish on Bitcoin and altcoins especially is because we're actually starting to see Bitcoin dominance slow down, right? So as we did see, Bitcoin dominance, what was happening is when Bitcoin fell, right? When Bitcoin fell, we saw that big fall and everyone started buying into Bitcoin because they were nervous. Everyone got out these speculation plays. They immediately got into Bitcoin. And that is what initially, we saw the big sell off in cryptos. And then that's what kind of started this consolidation of pays, why we saw some altcoins falling, right? So what we're looking at now is that we're starting to see it kind of top off. Right. And what I'm expecting is that we're going to see Bitcoin dominance fall very soon, like very, very soon. Now, a fun thing that I like to do is to pay attention to the Fibonacci's, even on Bitcoin dominance, because they do act very similar. They act very similar. And I bet you, look at that. They act very similar. That retracement there, a full-blown push-up. And everyone knows that a real retest, always tests at 618 to the 786. But it looks like Bitcoin is struggling to balance it, right? We're testing that resistance. And we know the more times you touch resistance without clearing it, the more likely you're going to see a fall. So what I'm expecting is that we're going to see Bitcoin dominance itself fall pretty soon. I would say that a pushback down to the 45 is very likely within the next week. And so what that means is that we could see one of two different scenarios play out. What it means is that we could see Bitcoin itself, its price fall, but some altcoins somewhat stay stable. Another point that could be brought up is that we could be looking at a breakout happening soon, right? So what we could be looking at happening is, let's go out to our original chart here. What we could be looking at happening is a healthy retest. A very healthy retest there, right? Healthy retest, boom, a touchback. Now, actually, one thing I want to look at, it's something I hadn't looked at before this started, so I could be wrong. But one thing that I'm curious about is if we do go back out, let's go back here and let's exit this. I kind of want to clear that off. There we go. If we do go from a few things, let's test. Let's see what our Fibonacci's are looking like. Because what we can do is we can test from our bottom to our high. Look at that. Look how beautiful. I did not check this before this started, but if we go to our swing low to our swing high, it touched it perfect. I've never seen anything that close. Look at that. Look at that touch there, right? So what that shows me is there is good resistance here. That's a good support here, which is great. So there's a great support level that is struggling to break through. We're seeing that resistance being tested but not cleared. Plus, I'm assuming that if we look at this maybe on an even shorter term, look at that. Look how beautiful. The bottom of the 786. It's a great setup. It's a fantastic setup to see this thing climbing. And look at that. Look how close. Right? Very good. So what I'm seeing is that on multiple terms, midterm, longer midterm, plus long term in terms of resistance on this trend line, we have a lot of reasons to maintain this level. If we maintain this level, this could be the perfect setup to see Bitcoin price start to climb. What does that mean for Bitcoin dominance if the price starts to fall, or the Bitcoin price starts to increase, but we're seeing Bitcoin dominance drop? That means altcoins are getting set up to grow. What that means is that with ADA, as we were looking at just now, this could be the touch that it needs off of this point of resistance. This is a buy zone. Let me get my rectangle. This is a buy zone. Where is the rectangle in this thing? Hold on. I don't use this one that often. Okay, hold on. Let's see. There we go. Rectangle. This is my buy zone right here. This is when I think buying ADA makes sense within this little zone right here, right? Off that bottom to this top that we're kind of seeing where these bottoms out happen, okay? What we could be looking at is that a support establishment to set that higher high that we've been looking for from something such as like we were seeing with Bitcoin, right? So this could be that push that we need, okay? So if we're expecting Bitcoin dominance to fall, but we think that Bitcoin's price may be about to increase, what that means to me, again, is that altcoins, if Bitcoin starts to pull, I think altcoins will outperform. I think altcoins will grow at a substantial higher percentage than we are seeing from Bitcoin, because it does seem like Bitcoin dominance is about to fall. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. I know these are very broad things, but we're in a broad 50-50 in the market right now where we just need to see where it goes. If you're looking to trade, what I would say, to make it super simple, is that if you're looking to trade this thing right now, say if you're looking to trade Bitcoin, what I would say makes perfect sense is to go ahead, let's get rid of that, and let's go back out here. What makes sense is to establish a stop loss very close, very, very close. This is a trade I'm more than likely going to take within the next 4 hours. I would set a stop loss probably towards our high here. I think this makes a lot of sense. Let's say even support, as low as it's closed. Let's even go there. I would be willing to take on a trade, buying now while we're testing that support. See if we test that support now that we've reestablished support, and bet that we could go higher. But if it does clear this, I think that's a sign that a downtrend is beginning. And then from there, it may touch this and climb, but what's most likely going to happen is if it does touch that stop loss and climb, we may be setting a head and shoulders. So what I would be looking to see is maybe setting a stop loss. If you're a little bit more risky, set a stop loss below all of these levels at 34,000, below that previous support establishment there. And then look for that growth. Look for that breakout. And I'll update you guys on the trade. That'll be a more text and picture type of technical analysis. But I really want to talk about all the fundamentals of the things I'm looking at right now. And I hope you guys are definitely following. And if I need to slow it down, definitely let me know. Now, if we take a look at a few other ones, XRP is definitely it's struggling. Right now, XRP has definitely surprised me by about how far down it's gone. And one thing that I am paying close attention to is I am seeing that formation of just that downward trend beginning. Now, what's wild is that it actually broke trend. It broke short-term trend, which surprised me. I was not expecting to see it fall this low. It looks like it's actually retesting right now, but XRP is definitely falling, so I would wait completely on XRP. Now that we have reached this former point of support, as we can see here on multiple occasions, it's reached down to like the 79.80 level, and it's maintained. So I would say, okay, we need to see support get established, but until it was able to break out of this here, I wouldn't even remotely consider buying it right now until it broke out of that. BNB has been performing quite well, actually. I'm excited. Let's go ahead and let's just clear this chart, and we can kind of pay attention to this. So one thing that we're noticing on BNB is we're actually starting to find that wedge start to form again, which is not necessarily that surprising. But as we can see here, we're testing the bottom of it now, like at this very moment. No, I think it'd be justified to maybe lower it a little bit just in terms of where we're wicking at. But if we do go down and we do kind of analyze this thing here, we can see that we failed to break it multiple times. Okay, so touch, not a touch there, but touch, almost tried to retest it, hit our heads on that 20-day MA on the 4 hours, and now we're looking at support here. So BNB is in another crucial moment. If a breakthrough happens here and we retest and hit our heads, we could be looking at a decent sized fall there. So definitely pay attention. So right now, my update is on all of these different cryptos. Now we're about 20 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. What we're looking at and paying close attention to on every single one is now is the time to set support. Like, we need to see it now, right? Of another fall of any like 4, 5, 10%, anything like that could have major implications that we've broken a lot of these different support levels. Let's like, even on BNB specifically, realistically, we've wicked below this level, but this is our close, right? This is where we're closing at. And this is where I'd like to see it continue to close. Let's go Let's go there. I love to see it close below that, and look how it's establishing support right above these previous closes, okay? So we need to see that on all of them. BNB, again, ADA, very, very important. Right now, setting this, I'd like to see maintain this at bare minimum. Even if we wick below it, sure. But a close on the 4 hour needs to remain, in my opinion, above that $1.40. On Bitcoin, again, the very last time, we need to hold the line. Okay, it's not looking the best, but we can be seeing a little bit of a doji here. So we'll keep you guys updated. We have a lot of reasons to hold this level, and if we break it, that's 3 different levels of support that we broke. We broke the 786. We broke the I think, if I do remember correctly, it was the 50 on the more midterm. Let me double check that real quick. If we go bottom to top, yeah. So that'd be the 50 here, plus our resistance, our downward trend line. So that's a lot of support. There's a lot of reasons for it to maintain it. If it doesn't, that's troubling. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's troubling. I don't want to get bearish, but it's troubling. Okay, so with that being said, that is going to be about it for today. I think for the most part, maybe we'll jump into Matic real quick, and let's kind of see what all is happening here. I haven't not looked at Matic in a second. What I would say with Matic is, let's see. Let's try to figure this one out here. So let me exit out of that fib. Let's go back out, because it has to be finding some support somewhere. Let's see. So right now we did just break into our retest zone. Okay, so this is, in my opinion, swing highs to swing low. This is a buy. Like, if you're going to be just taking a risk, like that's my buying zone. I always look for that retest. So when I buy a crypto, let's go back out to my tool here on a brush. When I buy on the breakout and I buy on the retest. Right, so like I do a little bit of money on the breakout just in case it flies, but the majority of my money goes out on the retest. Now we did see a baby retest here, but we're looking at a real retest into this golden zone. Okay, so personally speaking, as long as Matic can hold this level, as long as Matic doesn't go below 127 and close down there, I'm not stressing. I think that's a healthy pullback, especially for the growth they saw. So I'm not too concerned about that. Again, I will update you guys very, very soon on what all we see here. I know this is a little bit different, and it's a little bit more like I don't know, it's like a lot more, what's the word? Just less formal in terms, I'm just kind of letting you know what I'm seeing. I don't want to like have to structure these things too much, because I really just do want to get this information to you as fast as possible. You can read this and you get a lot more information within 20 minutes than reading 7 to 8 posts that'll take you the same amount of time that aren't as much info. So I hope you guys do enjoy this. I will let you guys know what happens in a little while. I'll update you guys a little bit later tonight, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you for stopping by, and peace.